I'm in the ghetto. Ra-ta-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ta-ta.
Baby. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I just wanted to come and run my mouth and talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 16. They call it the Sweet 16, but we're going to call it Sweet and Sour 16. Real Housewives of Atlanta, Sweet and Sour season 16. Listen, we just gonna talk. You know, we just gonna talk, and then excuse me, I just finished eating. Um, we just gonna chit chat. So this is the aftermath. This is the aftermath. This is I think it's at 48 hours later after Kenya decided to twirl on down and dance with the devil.
Bring your nuts. She hasn't knocked a couple of people lately, but she's been dying to dance with the devil.
I think according to Kelly, I think Kelly said she was still down there. She don't think she ever came back up. Um, this is the thing. Me personally, I wish Kenya wouldn't have done what she did, especially at her salon, especially being that she claims that this is for her daughter, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is for her daughter, and this is a legacy she's leaving behind for Brooklyn. And you know, I just don't know. Kenya was going off the 1800 slash Patron, okay, and I think all she saw was red, and I just don't. I don't understand her thought process. I do, to a certain degree. I get that she was probably more so angry with the people behind the scenes, aka production. But it doesn't take away from the fact that she still did what she did, right? Um, and I think that it is going to leave somewhat of a stain on something that she worked so hard for. I think Kenya will eventually be okay, right? Um, but again, I just wish she wouldn't have done it. Do I really care? Not really. I think I don't. Well, I know why I don't care. I don't care because I know that when it comes to Bravo, they usually don't care about stuff like this. Um, but I guess you have to make someone an example, and Kenya is being used as that example. Um, Cleo, Cleo, Cleo. Y'all know who Cleo is? Let me put the picture up. Picture of Cleo. So Cleo is at home, and she's having a conversation with her husband. It's so funny because, girl, just the other day, you was in the middle of the parking lot, girl, with your whips and pistols, talking about you, you gonna learn today. You gonna learn today. You gonna respect me. And girl, 48 hours later, honey, girl, you was girl, less than a week later, honey, girl, you was in your living room crying. Can we get past this old Brit got Kenya? No, Kenya got herself. Okay. Oh, Brit got Kenya up. Girl, Brit got Kenya up out of there. No. Kenya got herself up out of there. Okay. Brit didn't get Kenya up out of there. That was all. That was all Kenya, baby. Okay. Kenya got herself up out the door. It definitely wasn't Brit. It definitely wasn't pistol whipping, carrying. You gonna learn to date. You gonna learn to respect me. And girl, we turn around, girl. You sitting in your living room, girl, crying. Girl, I said, "Well, my, I thought she was gonna learn today."
You're going to be respectful around here. And if you don't know, you're going to learn today. Today is the day you're going to learn.
Like, how dare she?
She thinks this is okay. I haven't slept since.
I thought she was gonna learn to respect you. Girl, don't look like it. Anyways, I do think that Brit, believe it or not, I think the reason why I'm giving so much grace to Brit is because I really think she was used in this game with production in Kenya. I really, really do. I've said this, I'll say it again. I think they had bigger fish to fry, and I think it was Kenya. I think that Kenya doing that interview with Carlos King really rubbed them the wrong way. From what I understand, Patrick McDonald, who is a former producer for Bravo, has come out, and it sounds like from what he said, the producers have a lot of freedom. Like they pretty much run the entire show once they're hired. That's what I gathered from what he was saying. Um, so I don't think production really took to Kenya saying the things that she had to say, or not had to say, but the things she chose to say down to Carlos King's YouTube channel. When did she do the interview? Well, last year, the year before last, whenever it was, girl. Um, and so I think that because Brit is so thirsty, and because they know she's a stan, um, and because they know she's thirsty to be on the show, I think they kind of pull their strings with Brit. I do. Not to take away from Brit still being again accountable for what she did. Kenya has to be accountable for what she chose to do. Because Brit came down to the internet lying, all that carrying on she was doing, just lying, just lying, just lying. But again, I think that she was used. Um, she says she might lose her license. Uh, she's getting phone calls from clients and partners. I said, what clients? girl, what clients? What partners? Oh. She said she was blowing. She said that she was blowing her boyfriend. No, she didn't say blowing. Did she say blowing? Anyway, I think I put blowing. She was performing oral sex on her boyfriend in high school, and then she said in her 20s. She also um, did some webcam. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't think the pictures that Kenya showed of Brit were any pictures of Brit in high school. She said she was being filmed. Um, I let my boyfriend film me giving oral as a teenager. That's what she said. That means that would have been what? Because Brit ain't too much younger than me. I don't know. I just don't believe it. Girl, that would have been back in the day when sidekicks. I don't know. I don't believe the pictures that Kenya showed was any picture or film or picture she took from a film, screenshots that her boyfriend recorded of her in high school. I just don't. I do believe that the pictures Kenya showed came from her doing whatever she did in her 20s. I do. Um, and she said she had everything wiped from the internet. Well, clearly you didn't, girl. Girl, you need to go get a refund. Girl, they took your money and got you, girl. Girl, sister, they got you, girl. Girl, Bethany, they got you, girl. You didn't have it. You didn't have it white, baby. It's clearly, okay. Can I say something? I just don't think that Benadryl should be on the show. I don't. I don't think she should be on the show. It's nothing against Brandy. It's really not. It's nothing against Brandy. I just don't think she's a good fit. And I said this in my live the other night. I said that if this is our first time, and I'm going to bring Portia into this, something that Portia said on this episode. This is this is her first time, not Portia. This is Brit's first time having conflict on the show. If this is your first time having conflict on the show and your go-to is to start mentioning whips and pistols in the midst of an argument due to you wanting an issue with Kenya, and then when Kenya engages with you, she calls you a peasant, you call her a bitch. At that point, it should have been done. But then you continue to spiral out of control. And you're at this point really arguing with yourself because Kenya disengaged to the point where you got so angry, you started to mention whips and pistols. Portia said in her confessional, she was talking about Charles, Angela's husband, Charles. And she made a comment because Angela asked her, like, girl, basically, what did you mean when you brought up Charles the other night? And one of the things that Portia said was, we all have degrees of investigation. Someone will come for you in that way. Basically saying that I was joking. She said that she was joking with Angela, but maybe she shouldn't have been joking because they really didn't know each other know each other like that. However, we all have degrees of investigation. Someone will come for you in that way. So the point that I'm trying to make is this, as I said the other night. If this is Britt's first time in confrontation, and girl, you're already spazzing out to the point you're mentioning pistols and whips, then what are you going to do when you really get into an argument with somebody on this show? Because the way that the girls are set up on Real Housewives, they will mention your husband. We've seen Ashley Darby talk about Ray to Karen, right? We've seen Heavenly talk about the husbands. Okay? We've seen Giselle get cursed out from Wendy talking about her husband. We've seen Giselle get cursed out for lying on Chris Bassett for talking about Candace's husband. So the point that I'm trying to make is, girl, if this is your first time on the show and we're 4 weeks into filming, and if all it takes for you to spaz out is someone calling you a peasant, then what about those moments when they really do go there? Because on these shows, the girls go there. You see what I'm saying? Britt is not good at conflict, especially if she goes from literally 0 to 1 million real quick. She's just not. She gotta go. Girl, you gotta go. But bravo, this is what you allow down to the workplace. Kelly goes over to Benadryl's house, and I'll agree. Kenya wanted to get her up out of there. Kenya wanted that girl to spaz out. She had already said in the call she gotta go right after she threatened her with the pop out. She gotta go. So I think that's part of the reason why when she arrived, Kenya went ahead and started giving her speech, because I think she wanted Britt to see, and I think she wanted Britt to spaz out, and then that would have been her way of trying to get her off of the show. I do agree with that. And to Portia talking about Charles, girl, and Portia said it. Portia knows. Like, girl, I really don't even know this lady like that to even be joking with her about her husband. Because if you want to talk about the husbands, then we can talk about the husbands. If you want to talk about the husbands, then let's talk about the husbands, Miss Portia. Because the way we could really run the rundown on Mr. Simon Gubadia. We can really run. We can really run. We can really run it for Mr. Simon Gubadia. Hello, and Portia. So they all at Shamia's house, right? Shamia has all the girls over just to kiki and to eat, drink. You know how they do. And girl, Miss Portia, Black Love. Hashtag Love wins. Girl, I don't even care. Girl, you know the gag is. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and I ain't gonna take it back. You over there crying because, girl, your daughter is asking about Simon, and then you text Simon to tell him that your daughter is asking about him, and he left you on red. And this is the same nigga that you had your daughter sitting on his lap. I'm just looking out the window. Baby. Girl, we hadn't even made it past a 90-day probationary period. And you had that little girl sitting on that nigga's lap. And now, girl, you texting him about your daughter. Girl asking about him. And girl, he looked at his cell phone and girl put it down. Hey, baby. Girl. Oh, now she over there crying. Miss hashtag love wins. I don't really care. I don't care. I don't care. You know what? Can I say something? Girl, we just talking. Can I say something? Girl, I feel so good. I feel so good because a lot of people, I have been telling y'all about this lady for a long time. And I have been saying, I just want y'all to get on Twitter, get in the comment section. I want y'all to see how many people are saying, why is Portia on the show? Portia can't anchor the show. I have been saying this. Baby, cousins, tell the truth and shame the devil. Have I not been saying, even before the season started, that Portia cannot anchor a show? She just can't. She can't. She couldn't even anchor her own show. Girl. And her name was in the title of the show. So how are you going to come back over to Atlanta with 6 or 7 other bitches and try to rope them up together and try to make them fall in line? You can't. Portia is giving friend of this year. The return of Portia to Housewives is falling flat. Portia still wants to try, and instead of Portia just being honest about what's happening, she still wants to try to control the narrative that's being put out. Girl, just be honest. Just put it out there. That's the whole point of you being on reality TV. That's the real reason why she didn't really want, in my opinion, excuse me, Drew, I need my water, Drew and Dennis filming together. Because as trifling as Dennis might be, especially when he cheated on Portia, I think before she had the baby and I think while she was going through postpartum, it doesn't take away from what I feel is a fact that we have never seen Dennis just dog out Portia to other housewives. So this thing, like you don't have any evidence to back up why you don't want Dennis to film with Drew unless you just want to control the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, Kelly invites all the girls for a peace offering, like a dinner basically. But you heard how she said those ghetto ass bitches can't go to her restaurant. Y'all heard how she said that? She said, I want to invite y'all for chicken and waffles, but not at the restaurant. Because the way y'all girls like to throw up shit, y'all ain't come to my shit turn it up because I'm going to whoop y'all ass. Okay? Baby, that's my business. And girl, y'all don't know how to act. So we can go in the back, we can go in somebody's backyard and put a table up until I can figure out if y'all know how to act. Okay. Kelly and her daughter. Why does her daughter look like Chloe Bailey to me? I'm telling you, look at Kelly's daughter. She reminds me of Chloe, like Chloe the singer, Chloe Bailey. She really does. Listen, you could tell they have a close relationship. The daughter, long story short, the daughter really doesn't want to get married because basically she saw what her mother went through in her ghetto ass marriage. Horrible marriage. I'm sure they had some ups, but it sounds like they had a whole bunch of downs too. So the daughter doesn't want to really get married. All I'm gonna say is this: when it's all said and done, just us as people, for your friends, family, kids, whomever, you should just want people to be happy, right? However that looks. So if you are going to be in a marriage, just make sure that you can honestly say, I'm very, very happy. Not, oh, I'm putting up a front for people. Oh, I don't want to leave my marriage because the people told me not to marry this nigga anyways, and I don't want them to think they won. I'm talking about a real, honest, genuine, happy, mutual beneficial relationship. Or, right, you could also teach your children that if that's not what they want, then that's okay, as long as they are happy. Because your happiness doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come from being with someone. It doesn't. That's all I got to say about that, girl. Drew and Ralph. I think Drew and Ralph are both a mess, honestly. I do. I think Drew and Ralph are both a mess. So this is what I feel about Drew and Ralph. So Drew is upstairs having, I guess, breakfast, brunch, whatever. She's eating with the kids. They have to, I don't understand the whole setup. They have to leave the house on certain days of the week. Drew has to leave, or he has to leave, whatever days they have situated by the judge. The judge said, right? I don't know why they just can't. I don't know, girl. I don't know why they just can't trade spots where she just goes to the basement and then he goes upstairs. I don't know. I don't know, girl. I don't even care, honestly. So somebody has to leave the house. Like I think she said the first, the third, and the fifth. I don't know. It's her time to leave the home. Basically, that's the moral of the story. And she's upstairs eating. Ralph comes upstairs. She was really supposed to have. She really should have been already gone. She feels like, why is Ralph coming upstairs? Like, he never comes upstairs. This is the thing. I look at it two different ways. If the judge said, and this is what we talk about, whenever you have to go the legal route, dealing with, your kids or whatever, the judge ruling is a judge's ruling. So if they say, for right now, you got to do A, B, C, D, E, then girl, you got to just do A, B, C, D, E. I do believe that Ralph was playing in Drew's face, right, when he came upstairs, because I do believe Ralph never comes upstairs on time. I think he did it that day because the cameras were there, and that was a way to low-key start an argument. I don't believe that Ralph brings his ass upstairs on time whenever it's time for her to leave. I do believe that when she leaves, Ralph is still downstairs. Those kids are upstairs running around. However, it doesn't take away from the fact that your ass should have been gone anyways. You see what I'm saying? You still should have been gone. But I can also see Drew thinking in her head, well, girl, he never come up here on time anyways. So what's the difference between today and the other times he never come upstairs? I feel like Drew was trying to start an argument. But here we go again. The rules are the rules, right? Drew says that he needs to call the exterminator. He says, well, I don't, like, why can't you do it? And then she says, well, my lawyer said basically it's in the paperwork that you have to call the exterminator. I mean, girl, and that's the thing. Like, I guess the judge's ruling or whatever they agreed to is what they agreed to. But I just think it's stupid. Like, girl, girl, the exterminator, like, I don't like. Listen, like, I just feel like at this point, it's becoming like it's become team petty. Like, who can be the pettiest? Like, Drew, why can't you just call the exterminator? Like, dude, how long does it really take? And it's a good chance that you already have an exterminator on call, or you already have an extermination company, right? So how long does it really honestly take to call and say, hey, I need someone to come over? What's the earliest they can come? We can come tomorrow at 9. Okay, cool. And like, how long does that really, really take? So even though Drew is saying that the lawyer said that in the paperwork, that Ralph is supposed to be in control of calling an exterminator, like at some point, like, girl, you're just gonna be living. I guess you're just gonna be living with rats, ants, and roaches, and lions, and tigers, and bears, because don't nobody want to pick up the phone and just call the exterminator. Like, it's stuff like that where I just feel like they are like Drew is being petty and Ralph is being petty, right? Anyways, girl, Um, where we at? Oh, Angela and Shamia. Baby, Angela messy as hell. Baby. So they meet up at the studio to do some beats. Shout out to Nene Leaks. So Angela, Shamia, and Drew. Drew came later on. Girl, did y'all see? Girl, did y'all see how? Did y'all see how the editor this? Girl, I clocked this. I watched this scene about 10 times. I thought that when Drew walked into Shamia's home, when they all were at Shamia's house for the, kumbaya. Girl, why it looked like Drew walked in the house and went straight to get a plate? I said this bitch walked straight out. Girl, yeah, but no, girl, I kept looking. Girl, Drew actually walked outside because she had her purse. Girl. But the way the editors tried to make it seem, go back and watch it. The way the editors tried to make it seem was that Drew walked right in that house, went straight to that kitchen, got a plate, and then walked outside. Hey, yeah. No, Drew actually walked outside because she had her purse, and then when she walked back outside with her plate, she didn't have her purse with her. So I was like, because when I was looking at it like, maybe did Drew just walk right into this lady's house and go straight to the kitchen and then walk outside and speak? Yeah, I said, oh girl. Anyways, Angela brings up Portia basically hating. Shamia says she's gonna let it go because Portia, basically she's just gonna let it go. We all know that Portia was hating. It is what it is. Like the only way it will make sense when Shamia played her song at the dinner table the night that the whole Pistols and Whips episode. We know that Portia was hating. It's a jealousy that Portia has with Shamia. I hate to use the J word. I don't know if it's jealousy or envy. But it's something because for that to be your best, it would be different if Drew said, not Drew, if Shamia said, "Hey y'all, I want to play. Let's listen to some music," right? And then she played a song, and I guess Portia asked, "Girl, who was that?" Right? But then it's still weird because Shamia and Portia, they have sung together and they've been friends since middle school. So how would you not know your best friend's voice? But that's not what happened. Shamia literally told the group, "I want to play y'all my new song." Right? Like she literally said that. Like she said that this is my song. And Portia the whole time kept trying to deny that this is not your song. This is Drew's song. It was some hater ass shit. Because again, why would Shamil be playing Drew's song after she told you this is my song? And how would you know Drew's voice over your best friend's voice, who you've been best friends since middle school, and I've seen Shamia and Portia sing together. You see what I'm saying? But Shamil gonna let it go because that's her sister, so it is what it is. Britt, oh, girl, Britt and her mama. Girl, can I say something? Girl, your mama is not surprised that it's pictures and videos of you out here sucking dick. Girl, you've been on our TV screen since episode 1, bragging about being a video vixen in high school. I'm not saying just because you're a video vixen, that means that you have, done some strange things for a piece of change. But we know what comes with that territory sometimes, right? Now, again, Britt being a video vixen in high school does not mean it could mean that she was underage, but it also could mean that she was 18. I was 18 when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? I turned 18 in October and I graduated from high school in May. Technically, legally, I was an adult, but I was still in high school. So, I think you just have to be very careful of the roads you go down because, again, even with Britt saying she was a video vixen in high school, with her trying to make it seem as though she was in high school, I don't listen. The mama know her daughter. You raised her, girl. No shade. Um, I've always had to deal with this hate my whole life. I don't know what hate. That's what I'm saying. Like the girl should not be on the show. Girl, it's giving fanatic. It's giving Stan. It's giving Eminem. It's giving girl. I like even on this episode, she was still quoting. She was still quoting Kenya Moore, even on this episode. Like Girl, like you're too. It's this parasocial relationship that Britt has in her head. And when she met Kenya, and Kenya didn't just grab her by her shoulders and hug her, it made Britt feel away because she has created this relationship with Kenya from watching Kenya through her television screen with the rest of us. And now she's on this show as a housewife, and she can understand why Kenya isn't giving her what she feels as though she should give her. Now Britt is now making up in her head that this is why I never get along with females. That's what that's what she called y'all. She called y'all females because I've had to deal with this my whole life. Girl, deal with what? Girl, everything that's happening, you know, made up in your head. The mama say that Miss USA, she was talking about Kenya. She's Miss USA and she's teaching young girls. I mean, I'm sorry, she's supposed to be teaching young girls to be like her. Well, girl, let me tell you something. I'm gonna go ahead and say something. Y'all can. I don't care what nobody got to say. She is teaching the young girls that when somebody fuck with you and try to knock your crown off your head, get them together. Hello, catch that tea. Because y'all have this idea, not y'all, but people have this idea that because Kenya or because someone is a pageant girl, right, that they can't be cutthroat at the same time. No, I can be a pageant girl, and I also it's kind of like people have this idea that when people say stuff like, "Oh, girl, you're supposed to be a queen." Girl, if y'all go Google queens, girl, you would see some. There were queens out there that will slice your throat off with your motherfucking big ass head. So this thing of people thinking that because Kenya is a beauty pageant winner, or she kind of walks in and that other side of her can't kick in when she feels like somebody's fucking with her. It's kind of like when as people mature and we grow and we evolve, right? And you may not want to tap into, like, please don't ever get it twisted. I don't want to be that person that I know I can be, but that person is still there. I've grown, I've evolved, I'm trying to change, right, for the better, but don't piss me off because that person who I don't want to come out, like the Hulk, she can definitely come out. I'm just choosing to make sure she stays down. But if you fuck around, you might find out. You see what I'm saying? Ken teaching the girls when somebody come after you, girl, and they start to tilt your crown, baby, get them up off you. Period. Kelly's Peace Brunch. I'm not gonna lie, when I tell you I hollered. When Kelly called Portia, I think somebody called somebody. Basically, Portia couldn't make it because she's sick. Pilar is sick, and Portia got sick, and so she can't make it. Girl, Portia been sick this whole goddamn season. Hello. Kelly said, Kelly basically was telling her to take everything so she'll feel better. She was like, Kelly said, girl, take everything, girl. Just don't take nobody else, man. And when she giggled, she said, I'm just joking. You know I love you. She was like, girl, take everything. Just don't take nobody else, man. Girl, I'm just joking, girl. You know I love you. Girl, you wasn't joking. Hello? Let me just say something. Angela clocked the shit out of girl, Miss State Farm. Girl. Britt's life is questionable. It is. So Britt arrives and Shamia says, she mentioned to me yesterday that she lost her license. Now, for the life of me, for the life inside of me, I am trying to figure out when this happened, because Britt says everybody had their phones out recording. I don't believe that. at all. Let me tell y'all something. Let's be very, very effing clear. If somebody had their phones out and was recording when all that mess was happening inside that salon, baby, a picture would have hit the internet by now. At least one. The same way people swore up and down, oh, they signed NDAs to come inside the place. Girl, they probably signed a consent form to be on TV, right? But the same way that we still found out before this season aired that something went down in that salon based off of the people that were there and the people that were reporting on what happened at the salon, is the same way that, girl, if somebody would have had a picture or had their phones out, you better believe a picture would have been floating around by now. At least one. At least one. So my whole thing is, when this happened, there's no way that, because at the time this was just a rumor. You get where I'm going with this? Like, when Kenya did what she did at the salon, people started saying, oh my God, Kenya did X, Y, and Z. We didn't, well, some of us, we're in denial. Girl, Kenya ain't did no shit like that, right? But it wasn't still something that was set in stone. It was still a rumor nonetheless. So how did Kenya go from showing this to it being a rumor, nobody really not knowing if it happened, to the point where now what, 3 or 4 days later, maybe? What, a week later? Now all of a sudden you've lost your license? Based off of what? So your insurance company or whoever does, I don't know how the stuff works. They heard about this, girl. Something happened in Atlanta on this show called The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Some girls showed pictures of Brit giving fellatio. We have to take her license. And so Angela says, based off of what? Girl, how did you just lose your license? Based off of what? Girl, because ain't shit happened. I mean, we know what happened, but nothing has transpired to the point where you should be losing your license this quickly. And then she says, are you confused as to what's going on? Girl, she got offended. Girl, we can't even ask you no question about you being offended. Girl, she got offended. And then Angela hit her, baby, let me tell you something, girl, because this is what the girls don't want. This is why it's hard to have this conversation, because there are people out there who are not starting at A. They're starting at K. You failed to take responsibility for how we even got here. You failed to take responsibility for how we even got here. And then she said, read the motherfucking room. And she told her, then Britt told Angela, you acting a little slow. Now I'm going to say something. I'm not picking. I want y'all to go back and watch it, because I watched it on Peacock on my app. So I don't know if they showed it on the actual show. Sometimes Peacock and NBC, they have two different versions sometimes. Did y'all see when Britt was on her hands like this? Because Angela said, you like to throw rocks and hide your hands. And then she said, my hands are right here. And she put her hands in Angela's face. I know y'all saw that. Now, don't get it twisted, like I was telling my sister on the phone last night. Girl, I talk with my hands. Y'all see me, I talk with my hands a lot. I think there's a difference between talking with your hands like me and reaching over, and girl, talking with my hands right here. I don't like what Kenya did. I feel like I have to keep saying it. But at some point, I don't care. Bravo don't care either. Because the fact of the matter is, Britt had been fucking with that lady. She had been wanting an issue with Kenya since Kenya stepped on the scene. You have been wanting an issue with this woman because she did not greet you the way that you felt that she should have greeted you, Stan. And because she didn't hug you or greet you the way that you felt that she should have, you made up this fight in your head with her based off of what you saw on television. Kenya ain't did nothing to nobody this whole season until she did something to somebody in retaliation. And then you cut up and act a fool. You need to take responsibility for how we even got here. I think Bravo, NBC Universal, I think they are probably losing it because this is not going the way, or the people in charge, this is not going the way that they necessarily thought. You see a lot of people online, Team Kenya. Girl, the cast is Team Kenya. While there are people out there who can acknowledge that they don't like what Kenya did, they still don't give a damn. And I am someone who believes that if you know you got some dirt out there, you might want to watch who you deal with and how you deal with them. Britain knew she had some dirt out there. She knew it. She knew. She knew. I could see if I would be on Brit's side if Brit was fucking with Kenya and then Kenya called her a peasant and then she called her a bitch and then Kenya went and showed nudes of her just sucking dick. I would be like, well, goddamn, Kenya. Girl. But the simple fact that's not how it went. Brit wanted an issue. She got the issue. And this is where we are. It is what it is. If you know that you used to be a hoe, and I'm not talking, I'm taking Brit out of it now. I'm just talking about us, all of us. If you know you used to be a hoe, whether you man, woman, non-binary, non-gender conforming, and you know you used to be on Black Breeders, Breed It Raw, come on. The gays know what I'm talking. The gays know what I'm talking about. Girl, macho. What's it called? Macho fucker. Remember those? Girl, X2, right? Amateur porn. You know what I'm saying? When you amateur, and you feel as though you're trying to let that life that you lived in the past go. You can't come on a platform like this messing with someone. Because you know you got some dirt out there. And even though you say you had the internet wiped clean, well, girl, they missed a spot. They missed a big ass spot. Oh my God. So Britt says you're on Kenya's side. I couldn't hear all of what Angela said, but it sounds like Angela said I am. This is the thing. Don't nobody want no picture of them floating around sucking dick. Don't nobody. Even if you like it can be definitely embarrassing, especially if you think that you've wiped the internet clean of that life, right? So it can definitely be embarrassing. It really, really can. So I don't want to act like if that was a picture of me, having sex, girl, doing what grown folk do, whatever you do in the bedroom. But I will also I'm not also so far removed from reality where I know that if I was doing something like that in my past, like, girl, I would just put it out there before anybody could throw my dirt in my face. If I ever got on a show like The Real Housewives, girl, I'm coming out the gate letting the girls know. Girl, I used to, work in the adult entertainment industry. And, it was something that I felt like I had to do at the time because I was struggling and I lived in New York City or LA or I couldn't pay my bills, blah, 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 blah. I feel like just put it out there. So then it's already out there. So when the pictures start circulating on the internet, girl, you'd be like, girl, listen, that was my past. It is what it is. But the girls we want to run from their past, yes, you might not live in your past no more, but your past is still there. Anyways, girl, I don't even care. Shamil, how did you? So Shamil says, "Well, how did it come to losing your license?" I'm under investigation, and then Angela says, "I thought so." Um, anyways, and she tells Britt, she tells Angela, "Would you like to twirl out?" I'm telling y'all, girl, it's giving the range fan. Girl, you steady using Kenya, and then even Drew had to get a lick in and say, "Baby, Kenya is definitely here." Girl. And I put Britt is upset because no one is acknowledging Kenya did wrong. Because nobody cares at this point. And I feel like that's what happened. I feel like my reaction was the same as the girls. When Kenya first did it, and I wasn't even there, I was watching it through my television screen. I felt a sense of disgust. I did. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I felt bad for Brittany at first. Believe it or not. Girl. I felt bad for Brittany. I was like, damn, this is a lot. Right? But I think as time goes by, it's kind of like, girl, it is what it is, girl. You was a hoe back when they say you was. I don't know what you were. Girl, you was sucking dick on camera and webcams. Girl, I don't know, girl. Girl, you was messing with this girl. It is what it is. And I feel like that's where the girls are with it. Like, it was fucked up at first. We didn't like it. But now this is where we are. And you're not innocent. And we're going to be honest. You started this whole situation. It is what it is. You started this whole situation. That girl ain't did shit to you. And now you got the response. You wanted the Kenya Moore experience. Now you got the Kenya Moore experience. Now she's unemployed, but you got the Kenya Moore experience. This is what you wanted. This is what you've been wanting. Sorry. You got to be careful when you know you have dirt. When you know you've done dirt, y'all have to be careful about who you deal with. You have to be careful. You know how they say pick your battles? We are taught that from a very young. Let me look over these notes. We are taught that from a very young age. Learn to pick your battles. You have to learn how to pick your battles. Pick your battles, right? Because if you get in battle with the wrong person, it may not end well for you. Like I said, Benadryl would have been better going after Portia. That would have made a lot more sense. Because people were expecting Portia to kind of get thrown around based off of the whole Simon situation. Girl, you come in wanting an issue with Kenya, and look at where we at. Look what happened. You picked the wrong enemy. You just did. Oh, Angela isn't perimenopausal. She's just always hot. I get it because I'm always hot too. But she always like Angela be hot, hot, hot. I'm hot natured too. I ain't gonna lie. I don't even like going out during my friends will tell you during the summertime. That's when the girls be like, "Oh, girl, it's summertime, girl." Girl, I don't like to. Girl, let me tell you something. I don't like to go out during the summer, especially during the day. Girl, and sometimes, girl, where I live, girl, it'll still be 100 degrees at nighttime. Hello, so I'm just not. I'm just Girl, I like going outside, sitting outside, drinking. Girl, Wait till 8 o'clock hit. Wait till the sun go down, and then I gotta check the temperature then too. Um. Oh, one of the questions that Kelly asked: would you let it go? Basically, like if it happened to you, would you let it go? I mean, of course, like this. I mean, that's the thing. Like nobody. If we're gonna have some real honest, kitchen table talk, because don't nobody want a picture of them out there sucking dick. Just nobody does. Especially if it's something that you try to, get wiped from the internet. With that being said, girl, you started it. Girl, you started all of this. Girl, I'm sorry. Like you started all of this, sister. Girl, like you started this, Britt. And this is where we're at. Mm-mm. Did Portia say something about her going through IVF with Simon? Girl. 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 She's Miss USA. She's supposed to be teaching girls to be like her. Girl, y'all always want somebody. Y'all always want somebody to raise y'all kids. Raise y'all own kids. You acting a little slow. Girl, Angela clocked. Miss Angela clocked. What's her face? Girl, Brandy clocked her. Read the motherfucking room. Why is she not here? Girl, Britt feeling herself. I feel like in that scene, Britt was feeling herself like, girl, I think Britt feels like she got Kenya out. Girl, you didn't get Kenya out. And I feel like some people are saying that online too, girl. Kenya got herself out. Okay? Be very clear. All right, y'all, that's it. I'm gone. I hope this review made sense. Girl, I'm trying to get up out of here. All right, y'all, I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good day. Bye, y'all.